Okay, everybody, this is the video for angle relationships for beginners. So let's see what we have to work with here. The first thing I'm noticing that I could draw a straight line here, and that straight line equals 180 degrees. Anytime you've got a straight line, it is 180 degrees. Now, they're telling us that they want to know the measure of x and that the measure of angle 2 is 70. So they've already told us that, but there's actually a little bit more information that they've given us that they have drawn. If you notice, there is a square here. That square means 90 degrees. So if this part of that angle is 90, then you know that this second part is also 90, because 90 and 90 is 180. So to solve this, you can do it a couple of different ways. The way I would do it is, I know that 70 plus x is 90, so I would take 90, subtract the 70, and end up with 20 degrees. If you want to use that entire line, you can start with 180 degrees, subtract the 90 that's in the square, subtract the 70 that is written, and that leaves you 20 degrees at the bottom. So just remember, that is called supplementary. Okay, supplementary means 180 degrees. Complementary means 90, and we'll get to something like that in a second. All right, what is the measure of angle x? Again, I'm going to use my highlighter to show you what 180 degrees is. Then I'm going to come over here, use my calculator. 180 minus the 95 that's there leaves us with 85 degrees being the value of x. Again, these are supplementary. I'm just going to keep writing the word. Supplementary starts with the letter S. Starts with straight lines, so that's how I remember it. All right, name a pair of vertical angles. Vertical angles make an X, and then they are congruent. It means that they are valued exactly the same. So I'm going to start by tracing that line and tracing this line. So I know that angle 1 is exactly the same size and the same measure as angle 4. I'm going to come over here and go ahead and try to choose a different color highlighter, and I'm going to do another pair. Let's go ahead and crisscross this. So I know that angle 5 is exactly the same as angle 2. Notice I'm making those X's, and then finally I'm going to go ahead and do the last set, which is here. And that's telling you that angle 6 and angle 3 are exactly the same measure. Okay, so when it says name a pair of angles, I could have named 1 and 4, or I could have named 2 and 5, or finally I could have named 6 and 3. There are 3 sets of vertical angles in that picture, and vertical angles are always congruent to each other. All right. Okay, what is the measure of angle 3? And let's go ahead and find all of the measures. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and show you very clearly that there is a big old X there. So angle 30 and angle 3 are exactly the same size. They're both 30 degrees. Now, I want to know what angle 1 and 2 are. Well, we know they're congruent because they're vertical angles, but how am I going to figure out what they are? Well, I'm going to start by going ahead and drawing a line which equals 180 degrees. And I'm going to subtract the 30 degrees that we know is angle 3. And I'm going to subtract. So that means that angle 180 minus 130, or excuse me, minus 30. Let me go ahead and put it in my calculator just because I'm tired and don't trust my math. So that means that this is 150 degrees and angle 1 is vertical, so it's also 150. Or I could say angle 1 and this 30 make 180. So there's lots of ways to figure out what these angles equal. All right, this is asking which pair of angles is not adjacent. That means they do not share a side. That's angle 1 and 2. If you notice, they share a side. Here's angle 3 and angle 4. They also share a side. Here's angle 5 and 6. They share a side. Finally, angles 7 and 8, they do not share a side. They are vertical, but they are not adjacent. Okay? If you look at this first set of angles, they are definitely adjacent, nothing more. This second set, notice that they are adjacent, but they also form a 90-degree angle, so they are complementary. Okay, and then here, these are adjacent, and if you notice, they form 180 degrees, so they are supplementary. And then lastly, the last set are vertical. Okay, so they're the only ones that are not adjacent. All right, angle relationships intermediate will be next.